All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session on PowerShell Secret Management. My name is Sydney. I am a PM on the PowerShell team, and I'm so lucky to be joined today by Paul, who is an engineer on the PowerShell team, and in fact was the engineer who built both Secret Management and Secret Store. So this session today is designed to be sort of a getting started guide to Secret Management and Secret Store. So we'll explain how each of these modules came to be, what the philosophy is behind them, why and when you may want to use them, and then just some basics how to get started and start configuring these modules. So if you are an advanced secret management user who's been following this project closely for the last year, or maybe even just after the session, you are feeling like an advanced user, I will note that Justin Grody also has an awesome session during the summit showing how to build your own extension vault. I'm sure this will be a really great session, so that might be something to check out after this session. And with that, we'll get started. So why did we create some secret management in the first place? Well, this project came to be based on some customer feedback that it's difficult to manage secrets securely in heterogeneous cloud environments, that you all write advanced scripts which require multiple secrets and types of secrets, especially when orchestrating across different clouds, that today custom code is required to securely manage secrets across platforms. And if you're developing in an environment with multiple developers using multiple platforms, that sharing code is very difficult. And of course, that this problem really matters because it is high stakes because of the security implications. You do not want those plain text passwords floating around in your scripts. In other words, we heard feedback over and over again that today's secret management landscape is complex, that you all work in worlds with multiple developers who use multiple secret providers and multiple secret types to orchestrate scripts that work across multiple applications, sometimes even moving across multiple clouds. And this all happens across multiple platforms. So what did we do? So we created secret management as an abstraction layer in PowerShell so that regardless of what platform you're developing on, what applications you're interacting with, what secret provider or secret type you're using, or what cloud or other platform you are on, you can use a single set of commandlets. So get secret, for example. And we created this as a module in PowerShell that is compatible back to PowerShell 5.1. And this module is now GA and available in the PowerShell gallery. In this module, we support 5 secret types shown here. So we support PS credentials, secure strings, hash tables, and byte arrays. So you might be thinking, when would I use secret management? Why would this be useful to me? So here are some of the most compelling scenarios that we've heard from users. The first one is when you want to share a script across your org or maybe an open source and you don't know the local platform or vault of all users. Previously, this created complex logic to determine the platform so that you knew the very specific and sometimes difficult ways to interact with a local vault, or maybe the local vault didn't even exist. This allows you to just use the get secret command and then leave the vault up to the end user. Maybe you want to run your deployment script in local test and prod with the change of only a single parameter. So each of these environments may have different secret vaults that they're interacting with. And so you don't want to have to go through and rearrange or edit the script each time to change exactly how you interact with that particular vault provider, since they're all different. And instead, you can just use the get secret command at each call, each time you need a secret using vault, and then just update what the vault parameter is at the top of your script. You may also want to move secrets from on-prem to the cloud, once again, with only the change of a single parameter. Migrating from on-prem to the cloud or across clouds is difficult as is, and so when we can abstract some of the changes across these different vaults, it makes the process a little bit simpler. You may also want to change the backend authentication method to meet specific security or organizational needs without needing to update all your scripts. So maybe you write scripts that are used across a number of different organizations, and each organization has different specific requirements or preferences for different vaults. And so you don't want to have to rewrite the script or adjust the script for each vault that organization needs. And instead, you can write a single script that uses get secret with the vault parameter and allow the backend authentication to be updated by each individual organization. And finally, we see secret management as sometimes just a convenience feature, which can allow users to simplify interactions with various vaults by only needing to learn a single set of commandlets. In other words, secret management is valuable in heterogeneous environments where you may want to separate the specifics of the vault from a common script which needs secrets. And with this, I'm going to jump into our first demo and show you how to get started with secret management. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is install the secret management module. So you're going to use install module. The module is called Microsoft.PowerShell.SecretManagement. And as I mentioned, it's GA today, available on the PowerShell gallery. I already have the module installed, so I'm not going to run that, but I am going to run a get command call against the module name, Microsoft PowerShell Secret Management, to see the commandlet interface that we have to work with. And so as you can see, we have a few types of commandlets. So we have our secret vault commandlets like register and unregister and get secret vault. And so this allows you to, as you guessed, register secret vaults, see which secret vaults you have registered, and unregister secret vault. We also have commandlets to get secrets, set secrets, which is also used to create secrets and update secrets, remove secrets, and then get secret info, which shows you a list of the names of all the secrets you have. So to get started here, I'm going to run get secret vault and see what comes. So since this is my first time using secret management, I don't have any secret vault registered by default. So get secret vault is going to return nothing. So the very first thing I'm going to need to do when I want to start using secret management is decide which vault I want to use, install that vault, and register it. So with that, I'm going to jump back into the slides and talk a little bit more about the vault ecosystem design. So what I really want to emphasize is that the value of secret management comes from the vault ecosystem. Secret management becomes useful once you have at least one vault registered, and oftentimes it becomes more valuable the more vaults we have in our ecosystem. What are extension vaults? So extension vaults are just PowerShell modules with a particular structure, and they ship on the PowerShell gallery, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Vaults, so secret management leaves the advanced key and authentication management up to individual vaults. These are just a few things to keep in mind when looking at vaults. And the vaults are owned and supported by vault owners and community users, and published and distributed through the PowerShell gallery. So you might be wondering, like, what are some examples of vault extensions today? So many of the common key providers that you already use already have community supported vaults available today on PowerShell Gallery, and I can show you a few of those. Great. So if you're on PowerShell Gallery, we are using this tag secret management to distinguish modules which have that particular structure and implementation that allow you to interact with secret vault through secret management. So we're going to talk more about secret store, and I'm going to demo that one in just a second, and then Paul is going to dig into it a little bit more. But we also have things like KeyPass, LastPass, HashiCorp Vault, Keychain, 1Password, Chromium, and a number of others. Azure Key Vault is another example of what an extension vault could be. And as I mentioned earlier, if you are interested in writing your own, we have some design information and examples on our GitHub site, and then also Justin Grody is going to be talking more about that in his session. So we're using that secret management tag to identify vaults on the PowerShell gallery. And so this is just another view that you can see. If you use rather go through the command line, use the find module command, you can use our tag filter, secret management, and you're going to see which vaults are available for you today. So with that, let's jump back into a demo and kind of show a little bit more on how to get started with these vaults. So this is where we left off, get secret call. vault call. So I'm going to now install my first extension vault module. So the one I'm going to use is Microsoft PowerShell Secret Store. And this is a vault that was created by the PowerShell team specifically for use in secret management. It's a cross-platform vault available where PowerShell 7 is. But for the sake of this demo, it really could be any of these extension vaults. I'm just using this one as an example. So the first thing you're going to want to do is install the module. And then since I've already done that, I'm not going to run that, but I am going to register the secret vault, which is going to be the next step. So we have this register secret vault commandlet. I'm going to provide the module name. So in this case, it was Microsoft PowerShell Secret Store. And if I don't provide a name for this, the secret management is going to use the module name as the friendly name for the vault, but I'd prefer to use the friendly name, so I'm going to write Secret Store here. And then I am going to also use this default vault switch. And what this does is it allows me to not need to use the vault parameter when I'm making calls using the other commandlets. So this is just going to set it as my default vault. So once again, if I'm not using the vault parameter, it's going to know I want to use my secret store vault. With that, we have registered our first vault, our secret vault. So now let's run get secret vault and see that it's there. Very cool. Next commandlet I want to show is get secret info. And this is going to return a list of all the secrets that I've created, their name, type, and where they're stored. So these are stored in my secret store. They're secure strings, and the name is foo in my secret. So I've already created these secrets, so they're available here for me to create. So if I want to create a new secret, I'm going to use the set secret commandlet. Provide this with a name. It's so hard to come up with names, so we'll go with foo2. It's going to prompt me if I don't provide a secret in the commandlet. And now I have another secret that's been added to my secret vault. Now, if I want to access these secrets, as in get the secret itself, I'm going to use the get secret commandlet. So if I run the get secret commandlet on foo2, it's going to return to me by default this secure string secret. And if I need it as plain text, I can use the as plain text switch. Now, if I want to update one of these secrets, I can use the set secret commandlet as well. So I'll use set secret on foo2. There we go. Now we can run that again and see that the secret has been updated. The other commandlet you may want to use as secrets from time to time is remove secret. And so this is obviously going to remove your secret. And this commandlet does require a vault provided. And there we go. I'll clear my screen, run get secret info again. And there you can see the foo secret is now gone. So with that, I want to show you one more example of how to use an extension vault with secret management. So this was an example of a local vault that I was using. So I also want to show an example with a remote vault. So the vault I'm going to use today is Azure Key Vault, just as an example of a remote vault. So here you can see I've created this vault, my vault 324. I already have an existing secret in here, my AZ secret. And I've also already installed the module for this secret vault. So this secret vault extension is part of the AZ module, if you're familiar with that, or it's part of the AZ Key Vault module to be more specific. And it's available in any version of Azure Key Vault or AZ.Key Vault 3.3.0 or above. So once you have that installed, so then we can also register the secret vault. So I'm going to do register secret vault module name, And this time it's going to be az.keyvault. I don't know why that's not showing up in the backsearch. az.keyvault, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna start again so that I can cut that more cleanly. So next, I'm going to register this secret vault, my Azure Secret Vault. So I'm gonna use that register secret vault command again. The module name az.keyvault. I'm going to name it. My friendly name is going to be azkv. And then this vault uses an additional parameter called vault parameters. So some vaults may use this parameter, some don't. In this case, Azure Key Vault asks that I provide the vault name as well as the subscription ID that I will be using. So with that, we now have a second vault registered. You can see that my default vault is still Secret Store, but now I also have Azure Key Vault. If I run get secret info again, you'll see that now I also have my AZ secret returning here as well, and that I can get that secret and we can run this again as plain text if we want to see what it was. PowerShell rocks, very cool. So we can also create a new secret in Azure Key Vault with the set the secret commandlet again. Say my new secret with this vault azkv. There we go. And now if we come back up here, give this a little refresh, we will see that now I have this remotely created my new secret. So hopefully that gives you a little taste of how to get started with secret management, how to use the commandlet interface with both an example of a local vault and a remote vault. So now, of course, I can get to my scripting and start using get secret inline in my scripts, specifying the vault I would like to use and updating that as necessary. And so with that, I am going to pass things over to Paul. So I'm going to reshare my screen. Let's go with that.
Oh, great. Yeah, thank you, Sydney. Yeah, my name is Paul Higginbotham. I'm one of the developers on the PowerShell team. And I just want to spend a little bit of time talking a little bit more about the PowerShell Secret Store Extension Vault module. So as Sydney mentioned, it's an open source PowerShell module, and it's an extension vault for secret management, and created by the PowerShell team, but also made open source, and so we have community involvement. It's a local store, so we decided to create it because Secret Management is an orchestrator of extension vaults, and it doesn't come with any vaults at all. So if you install Secret Management by itself, it really doesn't do anything until you download and install and register a extension vault, as Sydney just showed. So we decided to build our own extension vault called Secret Store, and it's designed to store secrets locally, and something that's fairly easy to use. You can install it and register it. It doesn't require any extra accounts, like for Azure or AWS accounts or anything like that. So you can just install it and play with secret management and just kind of see how it works, using fairly simple local store that works over all platforms that PowerShell supports. The secret store itself is configurable. It's designed to work interactively from the command line, and of course, non-interactively for automation, unattended, script use, and for automation scenarios. I was going to say, I was going to say one more thing there, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, so it's designed to work interactively and non-interactively. Oh, I was going to mention that by default, the default configuration is set up so that the secret store does run interactively. And so I think that's all we need to say at this slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the secret store is configurable. So I just want to go talk a little bit more about how you can configure the secret store. It has basically 4 configuration options. The first is scope. And right now, there's only one configuration option available, and that's the current user. Eventually, we'll also want to support what we call all users or machine-wide scope, but that is not supported in the first version 1 release. So what current user user scope means is that when you install or configure the secret stores, it's configured for that specific user account, the current user account. And the secrets that are stored in the current user account location. And so each user account, when it runs secret store, it will have its own store on file, so that secrets are specific to each user account and are not. And you can't really share secrets across different user accounts. It's basically isolated to the current user. And again, machine-wide scope is something we're looking at for the next version, where secrets could then be shared over different accounts on the machine. The next configuration option is authentication. Oh no, sorry, we need to say on that same slide. The next authentication option is you can select password authentication or no password authentication. Basically, you don't require a password. And we can talk about that a little bit more later. Another configuration option is interaction. You can set the interaction to be prompt. In other words, that what that means is that when the secret store, if you have it configured so that it requires a password, and if you try to use the secret store and a password is needed, it will prompt the user for that password, and so it can be typed in. Of course, that doesn't work well for automation scenarios. So when you set interaction to none, then when it requires a password, it will not prompt the user and instead throw a specific exception that it can't access the store. The store is locked and a password is required. And then the last configuration option is password timeout. When you provide a password for the secret store to unlock the secret store, that password will remain valid within that PowerShell session for a certain period of time, and that time is defined by the password timeout. By default, it's set to 15 minutes. You can think of it like the sudo command in Linux. After that time has expired, if you then try to access secrets in the store, that will fail, and if prompting is allowed, if interaction is allowed, the secret store will prompt you for the password. Otherwise, it will throw an exception, says it cannot access the store. A couple of interesting things about the password timeout is that you can set the value to 0, and that means that there's 0 timeout. That means that every time you need to access the store, or secret management needs to access the store, you have to provide a password each time. And then on the opposite end of that, you can also set the password timeout to a value of -1, and that means that the password remains in effect for the full lifetime of this PowerShell session. And that can be really handy for unattended automation scripts, where you don't know how long it's going to run. You want to provide the password securely one time, and then after that, you don't want to have to do it again, and just let the automation script run and complete. And then after that, you want to terminate the PowerShell session, because the secret store remains unlocked. The secrets are accessible at that point. And just want to say also that by default, the configuration is to make it as secure as possible. So by default, a password is required. And also, it was kind of set up for interactive use. So by default configuration, the interaction is set to prompt. And then we move to the next slide, please. I just want to mention also that Secret Store does support users defined secret metadata. Secret Store also has its own built-in metadata, of course, and that's data that's associated with the secret that's stored. And of course, the basic built-in metadata is secret name, the secret data type, the vault name that's automatically stored. But it also supports the secret management user-defined metadata. So users can also provide data as named value pairs as a hash table that gets stored and associated with a secret as well. And the hash table, the values types that the secret store supports is string type or integer type or datetime type. Those 3 types are the only types it supports in the name value pair types. I think that's all we need to say there. Next slide, please. So then secrets are encrypted at rest. So that means that the secrets, when stored on file, they're encrypted. And they remain encrypted, as they reside on file. And actually, as the secrets are read into memory, they're read in encrypted as well, and they actually remain encrypted when they're in memory as well. And the only time that secrets are decrypted are when they are passed back to the user, through a secret management command. And then the password configuration, if the secret store is configured to require a password, that is, of course, the strongest protection. That means that those secrets are protected against any other user on the machine, as long as the users don't have access to that password. So as long as the password isn't stored on the machine or somehow disclosed to other users, that's the strongest protection for those secrets. But Secret Store also does allow you to turn that off and have it set the authentication to none. So there is basically no requirement for password. In that case, I should mention that the secrets are still encrypted, so that they're never stored in plain text on file and never read into memory as plain text. They're still encrypted on file and when they're read into memory, and only decrypted when passed back to the user. However, the encryption key that's used to encrypt them is also stored on file. And so when you have the no password required option selected, that's less secure, because really the only protection you have is operating system file system protection, right? So the encryption key is protected from other users with normal privilege level. However, higher elevated privilege users, you have full access to the file system, and then can conceivably discover the encryption key and be able to access the secrets. So obviously the no password configuration option is not a strong security protection as having a password required, but that option is available. Also should mention that secret metadata is not encrypted, and so if you provide user metadata, you should not include sensitive data, because it's not stored as not considered sensitive data, and is not stored in an encrypted manner. So don't store sensitive data in the secret metadata that's associated with the secret. If you do need to store name value type data that's in the form of name value pairs, and it's sensitive and you need to store it securely, secret management does support that, because one of the secret data types is a hash table. So if you do have data that's name value pair and it's sensitive, you want to store it securely, store it as a secret, don't store it as secret metadata. And then finally, just mention that these files do have hashes created, so that we do attempt to and do file tampering. So we do check to make sure that the file has not been tampered with. So that's just one other security measure that we do go through. So if if a file gets deleted, or if a file is somehow tampered with or modified in any way, that'll be detected, and then the secret store is considered to be corrupted and not usable at that point. And finally, I just want to mention that this is all based on the .NET cryptography APIs, which is why we can do this cross-platform, because .NET works cross-platform. So Secret Store works cross-platform. It doesn't use any OS-specific APIs. Next slide, please. So, so the last thing I want to then talk about is just Secret Store and automation. I just want to talk about that because when you start out, by default, Secret Store is configured to be interactive, although we do want to be able to run it, obviously, so that it's useful, run it as non-interactive in an automation scenario. But in order to do that, you'll need to reconfigure it, right? Because by default it's configured for interaction. And some of the commandlets, I just want to mention, there's really just these 5 commandlets that are available in Secret Store for configuration. And the first one is a set Secret Store configuration commandlet. Does what you expect. It sets all the 4 configuration options. The other one is a set Secret Store password. That command is designed to so that when the Secret Store is configured for a password and the password is provided, and then you want to change the password, you want to roll it at whatever, it'll change it for you. So you call that command, you give it the current password, and you give the new password that you want to change it to. Reset Secret Store is actually kind of similar to set Secret Store configuration, but it's kind of designed for a catastrophic problem. What it does is basically deletes all of the secrets and resets the Secret Store to the beginning state. It also takes parameters so that you can set it to a default state or to any other default configuration or to any other configuration you want. So it's actually very similar to set Secret Store configuration. I'll show you that in just a minute in the demo. But the only caveat is that if there are any secrets that already exist in the store, when you call Reset Secret Store, those are all deleted. So you just have to be aware that when you use that, you have to be comfortable with deleting any secrets that happen to be in that store at the time. And then finally, there's the unlock Secret Store, and that's what's used when you don't have interaction, when you don't have prompting for the password. You pass a password in through the unlock Secret Store command, and that unlocks the store. And again, the store remains unlocked for the timeout period that you have set in the configuration for the password timeout. And then finally, of course, if you're in non-interactive mode, which you are in automation, if for some reason you try to access the store and the password has not been provided or the password is timed out, it will throw the password required exception. It's a special exception type. And so that's one thing that you might need to know as you're writing your script. You might want to have a try-catch or a trapped, for that kind of exception, because that means, something that you can handle. That means that, yes, we need to provide the password in order to, use these secret management commands, and you need to use the unlock Secret Store. Okay, so at that, I think I just want to go then to a quick demo, and I just want to demonstrate a little bit some of the stuff I talk about for the configuration, especially for configuring for automation scenario. So I'm going to share my screen. Oop. Go back in it. So what I want to do here is just kind of simulate, because what I want to talk about is sort of like a CI scenario, or a DevOps pipeline scenario where you want to set up using script your secret management or Secret Store, and you want to configure it to run in non-interactive mode, and with password. We want the that's the most secure configuration. And so in order to do that, I do to kind of simulate that is I just basically remove the directory that contains the secrets for this account, and then so we're basically at the beginning. So even though I do have Secret Store and Secret Management installed right now, we can kind of just pretend that we have a new DevOps image that's pristine and everything. We have to install all the stuff we need, and then I won't go through it because actually in detail, because Cindy already went through this. But basically, in your script, you're going to want to install the PowerShell, secret management module. Then you want to install the PowerShell Secret Store module. Those are already installed right now. But the important thing then is then you want to configure it right off the bat, right? So I just want to mention the way that the Secret Store works is that the first time it's used, and if there's no configuration that's been set, it will default to the default configuration, which is interactive configuration and password required. And that's something you don't want in automation scenario. So the first thing you want to do after you install the modules is to set the Secret Store configuration. So I'll just clear that. And so we'll just go through this real quick. Yeah, set secret store configuration. Scope is current user. We talked about that. That's the only scope option that is allowed now in version 1. Authentication is password. We want it to be as secure as possible. Password, I want to set it to -1. We talked about that. That means that when we set the password, it remains in effect for the entire session. So this, the script or whatever can run. You don't have to worry about re-providing the password. Interaction, again, is set to none because we don't want any prompting. And then the password is passed in. This is kind of the tricky part for automation scenarios. What I'm doing here is I'm using, since this is on a Windows platform, I'm importing using the import CLI XML, which basically is importing a secure string from file. And the way it works on Windows, when you export a secure string to a file, it sees that it's a secure string, and automatically, the .NET API exports it in an encrypted form. So this is a secure way to store the string on the file and then re-import it securely. Again, that only works for Windows platforms because Windows leverages the data protection API. So that doesn't work for all platforms. So that, so for some other ways that you might securely pass in a password in your automation script, it kind of depends. I know a lot of CI pipelines, DevOps pipelines have ways to pass in read-only variables securely. You might look at maybe passing in through an environment variable, and then you have to kind of evaluate whether it meets your security needs to pass it in. But in any case, one of the tricky things is that when you set the secret store configuration, you have to provide the password for the secret store. You want to do that in a secure way. And then finally, PowerShell, this set secret store configuration command line is high impact. So by default, PowerShell will always prompt. You don't want to do that on your standalone or unattended automation script. So you use a -confirm parameter and set false. No, I don't want any confirmation. So you can run that. Now it's run. So right after that, next thing you need to do is run the unlock. Again, we pass in the password. Now we're going to unlock it. Okay, so now the secret store configuration has been configured. It's been unlocked. You can then go ahead and register it. I've already registered it, but you can do it again. So now it's been registered, and you can see that it's there, set to the default, and everything is running fine. If you do, get secret info, it's nothing because it's a brand new image. There's nothing there, and then you can go about setting your secrets. Get secret info, get secret. And you can do as many times as you want because we set the password once, and the password remains in effect for the entire session. So that continues to run each time that you need to access secrets or manipulate secrets in any way. So one thing I want to talk real quickly again is, okay, so when would you use secret store? I'm sorry, reset secret store. And because it really basically does kind of the same thing that set secret store configuration does, except that if there's any state before that, it just erases it all. And so you probably want to use that in the case where you don't know what the state is of the image. There might already be a secret store installed for that account and configured. And if that's the case, you may not know what the password is. And so what you want to do is you want to just basically start from the beginning. You want to start from scratch, and you have to be comfortable with the fact that whatever's there is going to be erased. So just kind of to emphasize that point, I just want to show that if you run this again, so we already have secret store configured on this account, and we're just going to run the same set secret store configuration again. So we're basically saying is, okay, set secret store configuration. I want to set it to require a password. I want to provide the password. And if you run it, you're going to get an error. It says, yes, the Microsoft Secret Store is already configured to require a password, and a new password cannot be added. You have to use the set secret store password to change it. So in other words, there's already state, it's already been configured. It won't just change it for you if it's already configured with a password, because that's not secure. So what you have to do is you have to do the reset secret store. Oops. Right, and then it gives you this big warning saying that everything been removed or will be removed. And again, we'll just go through it real quick. If you look what we did, it really just kind of mimics what we did with the secret store configuration. Again, we can set the current user option. Again, authentication, we want to set the password. Again, we're going to pass in the password from our encrypted file. Password timeout is -1. Secret interaction is none. And then of course, force, we don't want any interaction or prompting. So yeah, so you run this, and then again, you want to unlock it. Oops. And I get secret store configuration. So I forgot to do that before. You know, of course, you don't do that in script, but of course, this is interactive. We see that, yeah, of course, it's set up exactly how we wanted it. And if we wanted to get secret info, there's nothing there because we erased everything. So we're at the beginning again. We have to set secrets again, and then go from there. So that's all I wanted to show for that. And I just have one last slide. If we could go back to that.
Great. Yep, I'll share again.
So I just want to make a quick mention to Windows Managed Accounts, and just basically say that currently for this release, version 1 release, Windows Managed Accounts are not supported for Secret Management or Secret Store. And when I say managed account, that means some service accounts, managed accounts, virtual accounts, those kind of things currently don't work with Secret Management. And there's a couple of reasons I want to discuss. Well, before I get into that, I mean, we are looking to see how we might work around that problem for forthcoming release, but for version 1, it's not supported. But anyway, one of the reasons is that, again, Secret Store and Secret Management are set up based on a current user account, and it requires profile and account location, and basically use the local app data location to store configuration files and store files and that sort of thing. And if that's not available, and it isn't on some of the Windows accounts, then Secret Management Store just won't work. The second thing is that Secret Management Secret Store uses Secure String, .NET Secure String, which on Windows platforms is tied to the data protection APIs. And data protection APIs don't work for a number of reasons on Windows managed accounts. So for those two reasons, Secret Management and Secret Store are not supported on those accounts. And that's all I wanted to say about that. Back to you, Sydney.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. That's such a great detailed look at Secret Store. So I want to leave you all with some key takeaways that you can take away from this session. So the first thing is that Secret Management and Secret Store are generally available today on the PowerShell gallery, and they are production ready. So the first takeaway is really a call to action. Go ahead and install these modules, try them out, and give us some feedback. So what are some of our other takeaways? PowerShell can help you manage your local and remote secrets in a unified way. PowerShell Secret Management is an extensible management plane that becomes useful from the Extension Vault ecosystem. That Extension Vault ecosystem is such a key part of the design of secret management. That Secret Store is an extension vault published by the PowerShell team, and it's supported in the same places as PowerShell 7. The Secret Store has configurations which allow secret management to be used in automation, non-interactive settings, and that finally you can support and engage in the PowerShell engineering process through open source. This is a really key component that we didn't necessarily touch on very much throughout the presentation, but I still want to be a takeaway because I have to give a huge thank you to all of our community members who supported us throughout the development process of both of these modules, tried out our previews, gave us so much great feedback, and really allowed us to tailor the design modules to be most useful to your scenarios. And it doesn't stop here either. We now that we are GA, reached our 1.0 release, we're still looking for more feedback so we can continue to iterate on these modules and really make them as useful as possible. So beyond this presentation, how can you stay engaged with this project? First of all, installing and trying out the modules, and then reporting bugs, filing feature requests, and getting support from us. The best way to directly interact with Paul and I is through our 2 GitHub repos. So if the issue is related to the secret management interface, those first commandlets we showed, definitely open an issue on our GitHub site at PowerShell Secret Management. And if you're having any issues or have ideas for Secret Store, so that's more around the second set of commandlets that Paul showed with the configuration options and all of that, please do open an issue on our GitHub site at PowerShell Secret Store. And finally, I'll give a plug to our PowerShell team blog. This can easily be found on any search engine if you just search PowerShell blog. But we do really make a concerted effort to publish blogs every time we have releases for these modules and others. You can also find on that site a pretty detailed GA blog that covers many of the topics we discussed today. It also will link you to our documentation and both of these repos. So that's a great place to go back and get more resources if you enjoy this presentation and have any questions. So with that, thank you so much. I hope you all have a really excellent PowerShell Summit, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you all in person in 2022. Thanks, everyone.